Beltran. I'm east on the map of California. The controlling part of the land that has changed this world since the stocks took place in August 16th, 2021, with the sand and dirt part, and then we went digital. So the land went digital that time too. I'm also a granddaughter of a landowner. Um, so that has I'm also the game changer. So this has changed the world since 1959, in the 250 years since this whole world has came from different parts, and we migrated here around 2/16/1959, unless we're already here. Reynosa people got the opportunity to get a green card, and had the opportunity to vote. They resided and they worked, they bought land in Earlimart area where there was lots of ranches, and then they still hold land today in Richgrove, California by the 99. And in Richgrove, the California, that's where the Richgrove and Earlimart are where the ranch and land split. Since any agreement, you you wonder why I am heard. I am heard because I'm a part of the Cuidar Mexican preservation through my grandfather. I'm a Mexican, and I inherit whatever he has because he's gotten the proper way to do the whole document process, and then it inherits through the family. So that's why I'm a Mexican, and I'm a I'm a I'm also American because of my other grandmother who was born in Delano, California, but her mother's name is Nicanora Aza. They've been on the. She was born in Delano. Back then in Delano, there wasn't even a high school. There wasn't even a there was not a hospital, and it was mostly the west side. It was Cecil and Garces. So those would be the main roads growing up. Right before here in Early Mart, there was mostly ranch. So it grew, and then Richgrove has 27 streets. It's about 15 miles away from Richgrove's 15 miles away from Early Mart. It's also 15 miles away from Delano and McFarland. So um, most of the people were born here in 1959 for this establishment on the ground. So we could begin like where they were born. How about that? And then so most of us were born in Delano. If we're from these areas now today, and I uh I want to preserve the Mexican name because of the fact that we don't want to have it changed, and we don't want to have it to where anybody's going to manipulate that and know the richness in that and then go and try to claim that later. So we're going to avoid all these things by making things right and clear now. I'm a Mexican and I'm American because of the Mexicans here. And now, here since the establishment, it's never been established. And back then, the areas had no hospitals. So since then, most of the people were born in McFarland and other areas in houses. Okay, so my grandparents were able to receive Social Security. One of my grandmothers says that the money goes to your crane part of that. So I would like to check that out and make sure that it doesn't be supporting wars, because we're supposed to be using that tax money for that. So that's a different thing. There should be no money taking from anybody's Social Security or anybody's inheritance. Um, it should not stop. The Social Security should not stop, or and then it should go diverse. So take part in any we don't want to take part in any bad health. So if America is to give you your death sentence, then that's not the kind of America that we want to pursue here. We want to have it to where it's the best of everything now going forward. In the new agreement. So it has to have like top 100% everything. So even everything's gonna have to have a quality control and overview. That way there was no manipulating in it. So next steps. Okay, next. So I take the the movement began in 2/16/1959. I know the land because my grandfather has land here too by the 99 in Richgrove. So we're from Tamaulipas and Guajias and also Alto, Texas. So this way too that the names are not never to change. We want to make them permanent. Um, the where the Rio Grande is, we want to keep that name as well permanent. As is about It's about 15 minutes away from Reynosa and Tamaulipas. I mean, from the Rio Grande to Texas. So, with the document that we have right now, currently, it doesn't say anything about Hidalgo. It says McAllen in Mexico, or it says in McAllen in Mexico, or something like that. It has those two words together. So in Texas, Mexico, Texas. So the longest, the bridge is El Rio Grande. I don't know if you guys ever been on that, but it's like 15 miles long. The whole trip would be like from Earlimart to Delano. So that's how big the bridge is. Um, I've been on it, and my town, Richgrove, we have a little bit of history there. So the streets are 27 streets, and they go back. They are named after the biggest, longest living families, and there's the population there is about 2,000. And, so we don't have no police stations there. We don't have no police stations in Earlimart as well. Before we get to these parts, because we do wanna have the discipline for everybody. So we're gonna get to this part. The maps are already in the town. So Richgrove, it's 27 streets. I want you guys to know that they go in ABC order, and we have Syria in it. We have Reynosa in it. We have what else? We have Puerto Rico as well. So Puerto Rico would be named after Hernandez Street. Dula would be named after the Dulis. That's Abdullah, and those are from Syria. And then we got Flores, that's Reynosa. So these are people that have been here for a long time, and these names should never change. We don't want no names changed in Richgrove. So that way we can know that we've been here already, and this is where our mark is at. So going forward, the permits, we want to go ahead and monument the complexes. That way, for any complex information that's written, we'll go ahead and monument them as a part of Mexicans Monument. Zero, we don't have any black people in our town, Richgrove, but we would love if you guys would be able to join us. If you guys would ever be willing to move into a small town, we're very friendly there. We're nothing like any other town, so it would be a great honor. So the majority of us there are Catholic as well. So to come to our schools, and I have already told the youth to respect all races. So especially the blacks, I told them to respect them if we ever had any there, because it would be none have ever set foot there to be able to say that they've lived there. That would be new, and that would be very welcoming. So we would love it if we would be able to integrate a little bit more and get to know you guys, because the town has never had that privilege. So it would be more of an honor. So even for the white people too, so that way there's nobody feeling misplaced. We would love it, and we wouldn't want to. We wouldn't accept any bad name calling upon any kids, because right here in the towns everybody knows it, everybody, and we'll be able to check that as we're going forward, because every time a kid is doing something that they're not supposed to, or saying anything, then there's an opportunity right there to correct them at all times. Never waste a second, not to be able to tell them where they go wrong, because it's expected. So we have zero natives there. We've never had a native there. We've never had Indians there, so zero tribes there. It's pretty much a Mexican area, and then but it's now to the English part, because it's never really been established. So this way, I'm telling you now that no names are to change, and then we want everything to stay same now as it is now, to continue to be that way forever. Um, would so a native or an Indian or somebody else wouldn't be able to go over there and just say that, oh, I'm gonna go over and I'm gonna take over your town and you owe me this. And so there's a lot of things that we need to discuss right now, including the currency, because the way I'm gonna allow it is it's gonna go ahead with your policy. Only the fact that this is because I don't want to have the conflict, and and accept the fact that the way you guys are running things right now. So it's accepted. Even though in the past that if we would have considered that theft, you're actually very lucky, because today, yesterday there was no rules on it. So today, it's gonna be okayed by me on my part, but don't take advantage of it. Understand that it's going to be shared with other ones, or the super vessel will take over, because we got some supers as well, and this goes all the way to Canada. So I'll be the policy when that calls that, and then if any bad happens, then that's an automatic. It's not tolerated, and we've already had talks with the town, so that way it's known that we're not going to tolerate any of that stuff. So the we already made the necessary actions to discuss this as a proper talk, and not even the kids will be able to fight with each other, because we've already had these discussions. It's not even going to be over a boy. So be so I I feel so I feel I don't mean to be this direct on it, but I needed that clear. So we want to keep the town with the traditional Catholic teaching still, and we want to continue that. So we know the land, and that's clear. Um, we will allow the name America as a part of this story, because we're gonna annex it like a bookshelf, and we want to make it like to where it's gonna be part of the history without talking about the real annex and the mysteries in that. So we're gonna continue the process, and we're gonna allow it all to live a life that God has expects, and we're gonna follow the rules. So this is a different day. We can vote it, or it doesn't matter, but it must be a truthful, and no bad. So do this only because we're doing this only because God has made a way, and he's a really big fan of America. So the land going the land, you could build what you want on it. Make sure you keep it clean. You can't take over and feel that you are in charge of that, and you're gonna go and tax that, because like you're not gonna do the abuses on the land. It's a sovereign thing, where the sovereign people were supposed to let them know that. Um, so um, I went ahead and I expressed that, because We are okay to sell things like vendors or whatever. Just it's not that everybody's allowed to compete as well with the best prices. So without having the conflict. Um, in my town, the majority is Catholic, and in the town, we we're also Christians too. And I feel that God has sent me to tell you about the best gifts. How it costed, how much it costed me more than that other campaigning stuff. So I paid for everything that I did. um, I also took over the stocks. So if I want to put equity on that, I will. I put in, but right now I'm going to allow the process to continue the way it is, but I'm not going to allow anybody to continue to take. We're here to grow together, or it's going to be considered that you're stealing. So we're not going to tolerate anybody going against the Ten Commandments. Those are the main rules. In the past, but here I'm going to sacrifice something, and just because of the fact that I had a little bit of a attitude, I'm gonna go ahead and put myself with my own consequence on that, and I'm gonna punish me by allowing it to go through with the policy, because we shouldn't be allowing any of the language that I was doing before, or however I was talking. I'm trying to end this proper process too, and if it doesn't make a way for me, and then I'm good with that. So we want to have everybody on their point of properness. So you can honestly say all the Afghanistan thingy and stuff. I can honestly say that that wasn't deserving if it was paid for me. So I know what I said. I know how it was used. So without being getting too into detail with that, I'm sorry. And go ahead and with the policy or privacy policy. But the thing is that too, we're also going to be more firm on this other privacy part, because we want to go more public. We're not private people. We like actually being not. We like everybody to know everything, because then it's out there, and this is the way we get our word across. And we'll also be putting things in writing, word for word, making sure that things are said the way we're telling you, and you're understanding it the way it's being said, because it's expected. And so we want to keep the Catholic teachings. The best gifts that God gave us are the installations, that the catechism. If the church has changed, oh well, we got the best gifts. We know it. We know the knowledge, and we want them that that's smart. So even if they have to write it down a million times, the memorization is perfect. It's like the ABCs. The Our Father, keep you safe whenever you're scared. Your Hail Mary. All of these prayers are very important, because they're what saved the world today. We already are with the capacity to tell you now that we all have the same installations already in different parts of the areas all over the world. So that's our tactic. If anybody wanted to know what it was, it's the basic teachings of the Catholic teachings. And going forward with that, after that, then we would be able to walk the Christian walk. But other than that, we'd have to have the basic knowledge in order to to have the same kind of spirit that's being built right now, with the Holy Spirit, because of the fact that it is from God, and we need to keep that. If we don't, then there's no hope, and we actually need that. And it's expected, because He wants all of us to have the same understanding and things. These rules will keep you safe for life, and they're the part of the first laws that ever made into law. These, you follow them all of your days, and then you should be good for life. So, other than that, we'll all take accountability for everything that we do. And then we're not expecting any handouts. We're expecting to be all of us are. We want to work. We want to be able to put in our part. Um, Everything's paid in full. So don't think it costed millions. Just know that we know our authority, and there will be nobody telling us different if we already know what we are. And that's thanks to God, because Other than that, wouldn't know what else to say. Everybody else can be what they are, and without anybody having to say, no, you're this. Or we don't want to have any bad calling anymore because we aim a proper process going forward after today. It's 250 years now, and we aim even the children to be that way, proper. So let's continue, and then no more of that bad past. Okay, thank you.